Pretty good.
I don't want to put you on the spot, but
issues off and
are
on,
you?
but
I started recording.
Joshua, I didn't hear everything you were sharing, but
can you all hear me? I don't want to put like you on the spot, Marie, and I hope you can hear me. Are you a French speaker? Because we're doing like, even if not just French, we're doing finding common grounds. So basically, like, what languages do you speak? And Joshua was making a funny point about how we have common languages around GIS also. And one of the big things is like digitizing and editing workflows, which I thought was pretty hilarious because it's so true. Everyone who's done GIS has had this trouble. So yeah, welcome, and tell us a bit more about you, Marie.
Okay, a just special things maker, change maker, as I said. I'm from Cameroon and I'm working for the National Mapping Institute. So I'm also a member of African Women in GIS. Yeah, that's all.
Salut, Marie. Hi, this is Christine, guys.
Christine.
Can you get me? We wish.
Yeah, I'm getting you.
So actually, I'm from Cameroon originally as well, but I left Cameroon. I was very young. Actually, I live in France, and I speak 5 languages.
Wow,
well, because
nice.
I'm from Banjul, so I speak
really.
And I live in the south, so I speak Fong and Bulu, so that's where I grew up. But I left for France and Germany and now America, so I speak all of those languages. And I think that as a group, I'm really interested in, I have been really focusing on GIS for the youth, but youth meaning starting really early on. I'm giving some workshop in France and Germany at this time. I have one in September where I'm going to be traveling to France to give a workshop to a school of architecture, because I'm an architect, actually, I'm a designer, and I think that it is something that needs to be used in that, in that field as well. So I look at this and I think really that I enjoy what Vero you're doing. And I think that we need to actually join forces to do something bigger, Maybe there's a group that we could create and update on what we're doing. And if somebody is interested in jumping in, we could actually start collaborating in a way that I think augments us, because that's really what we are missing, supporting each other, understanding what each other is doing, and being able to add or augment what they're doing, because I think that GIS is limitless, I might be doing something in architecture, and what I have really enjoyed in GIS is really the fact that when I present a work or when I'm doing a workshop to a different group, and present my idea, the way they take it and understand it in their own way of doing things make me actually learn so much that it's expand my view and allow me to actually be better or move forward, with what I'm doing, whether it's to augment what they do or even augment my own way of being. So I think that this is really an opportunity for us to actually, grow stronger, expand, and share ideas in ways that, because I think that if I'm interacting with you, Vero, anytime I look at what you do, or, Kathy, there will be something that you will share that will allow me to actually be better. And it is in that context that I really believe that GIS is one of these very, unique tool that allow us to celebrate our differences, and I think that today we live in a world that is so discriminated. And I don't think that discrimination is going anywhere. It's not going away. And the reason it's not going away is because we are, conditioned by a system that is discriminated, right? We have a lot of different things that actually look at one path rather than another. And we have been focusing on this system that actually, target one goal, one, you have to do so many things, so many steps to be better. And it's one step for all, rather than, providing this freedom of actually understanding people in their uniqueness. Because if we have a target goal, then we're all focusing on one thing and forgetting who we are. So we cannot develop who we are. We suppress who we are to actually follow what society has said. And I think that this tool really allows us to break those barriers and actually enhance or focus on those uniqueness that we have, so that we could actually participate to this complex world and be, and create or disrupt, what is going on, and create things that are really unique. Because is this uniqueness, developing our uniqueness, that is missing. And if we could start looking at the uniqueness, or looking at somebody else as an opportunity to learn something we didn't know, then we're going to be breaking this type of, discrimination or segregation, and actually start looking at what is not what we know, But I could talk about this for hours, but I wanted to just...
I love it. I love it. And I could listen to you for hours, Kristen. And I really appreciate you saying all these things, because I think a big part, and I did share this in our session, is like a big part, I'll stop my video so that I don't freeze. A big part of my moving forward now, I want more people to be involved in GIS that are not necessarily the people you would think of involving in GIS in a way. We're going to call them non-technical people, just because, like you said, they have so much to bring. And when I was invited on the panel to Homecoming, I was really excited, because I was like, I know so many people doing GIS in the United States, but I don't know my African GIS family. I don't know it, because this is not where I got my GIS skills. I got it in the United States. Right. So that's why I was like, I want a happy hour for our time zone. I want us to get together and just talk about, a lot of us have experience, like, leaving home, not using our languages, adapting to new cultures, just to be able to get skills to get on the market. So I just think it's so inspiring, like to meet, like, obviously the GIS, like the Black GIS people in the US, but I'm really excited about meeting the people like in African nations also doing GIS. And I see we have someone who hopped on. Hi, Angela. Nice to meet you. Bienvenue to our Homecoming happy hour. It's a bilingual one. If you want to speak French, you can, English, or whatever language you can, but I don't know. Actually, I'm curious, like, if people can post in the chat if they speak other languages. I know Kristen already shared like some of her languages. I'd love to hear like whatever languages you speak, that maybe we'll have more happy hours with each different languages in the coming years. So yeah, just share in the chat, and you can feel free to introduce yourself, Angela. My name is Veronica Kuti, and pronouns are she, her, and I'm really happy that you hopped on our happy hour. It's really fun. So feel free to just start chatting away, Christine, Marie. Joshua also. Don't hesitate to share more about like where you're from, what you've been working on, and anything you want to really.
Okay. Okay. Fine. Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Yeah.
Okay, okay, fine. Presently, I'm working with Procom McCarthy. It's a UK DFID sponsored project, and we basically work in the northeastern Nigeria. As you all know, northeastern Nigeria presently is ravaged by insurgency, and they have a lot of people there that are internally displaced. So our task there is to identify these rural poor, and they have a lot of rural areas. So using GIS, we're able to identify these people and also support them. So far, GIS in Nigeria or Africa as a whole have really improved. As for 2018 to 2018, in the whole of Nigeria, we did not have any Esri certified individual. You understand? If you go to the Esri certification directory, like if you type Nigeria there, you won't see any Nigerian. But today, we are about 4 of us, and the number keeps increasing. So I think this is lately improvement in terms of the quality of GIS we do here in Nigeria. And I think there is no more difference, though we might not have access to most of the softwares due to maybe licenses, but I don't think there is much difference between what is obtainable. Though, yeah, we might have disparities in quality standard, but there's no more difference in what is obtainable here in Africa. And we're able to redefine our own GIS story to the understanding of our local people. So most times, if you do flood analysis, when flood analysis is done, like I gave yesterday, the result of this flood analysis, we translate it into local languages. You know, we try and do away with all the technicalities. We try to translate this result in a language, in a manner this community people, they will understand. There's flood coming on. Yes, your farm is at risk. But most of them might not even understand that seriously. What we are telling them went through GIS analysis or modeling. But some of them do take it. Some of them also do try it. Then so also provide mitigation strategy. How can they avoid it? It's not just by telling them that the flood is coming, but how can they avoid? Because flood is always a big thing, you know, for especially rural farmers in Nigeria. Because so we try to provide mitigation strategy, practice early planting and then early harvesting, you know. So these are some of the areas. And then we also have GIS entrepreneurs coming up, you know, people who provide mapping services. See, then presently GIS has been incorporated into the secondary school curriculum, so which is not obtainable before. Before then, it was just until you get to the university or you're in geography department before you hear about GIS. But presently, it has been incorporated into our secondary school, that's a high school curriculum. Yeah. So how NorthStar again has really tried people, because for people like me, I've really understood, see, there's no difference between what you're doing with what people are doing in other countries, especially blacks. So, and people like me, I actually have a lot of influence in people I communicate with because I communicate with a lot of people in the industry. So I try to make them understand, see, you don't need to feel inferior. There's no need for any inferiority complex. You don't need to be less, or you don't need to feel less GIS because you are in Nigeria or you are in Africa, because there is no difference between the same story map tool you use here in Africa, and that is the same story map somebody in in Thailand, somebody in US is using. The only thing is just the story, the content. That is the difference. Yes.
And
So these are some of the costs. Yes. Yeah. So that's basically what I've been. So recently, I launched the Spatial and Data Science Society of Nigeria, which will be one of the very soon we will unveil it, which will be one of the largest community of spatial data scientists in the country. So thank you.
very good. I'm very, I've been listening to you, and I think it's very amazing to hear those stories. But really, I think that we need to counter map history, because this idea that somebody in Africa should feel any less than somebody somewhere else, it's totally a myth. I came from Africa. I know my story. The problem that we have in Africa is that we have been colonized, and that our education have been taught by people who didn't know us. By that, by doing that, we have actually, learned who we are by somebody who didn't know us. And I think that GIS is really providing us an opportunity to shine. I do not think that we have to be any less. In fact, we have to showcase who we are, because where we are in our context, we are real. I always love to bring back my grandmother. We do GIS in Africa. I'm sorry. We have GIS. My grandmother, I will go to the village, and my grandmother at noon, she never had a watch, will tell me it's noon. We will be, helping her in her farm. And at 3 p.m., she will say, it's going to rain. And by the time we reach home, it rained. We do GIS. We just don't use the tool. So somebody come tell me that GIS in Africa, if it isn't GIS, I got a story for them. Because you know what? We learned so much. Today, what I'm actually using in America and teaching the kid in America are a lot of what my grandmother taught me. So somebody tell me we don't know GIS, that's nonsense, because I think that Africa has a lot to teach, us over here. We have developed a society that is totally sick, because we have forgotten those rules that my grandmother had. In the village where it is 100 degrees every day, I live in my grandmother's house. I never sweat. Why? Because they understood how to design, how to build. I live in my house in Georgia that I pay $400,000 for, and I cannot even open my window, or it is so cold, it's so hot, because we have made a mess in developing, because we thought we had the system. No, it is the other way around. The West has to learn so much from us. I mean, I'm sorry. That's what I teach my students. I told them that we have messed it up, because we used to think that in Africa, they didn't know how to design. Guess what? 20, 30 years ago, scientists were going back to Africa to try to understand how those people design, and how is it that they could live in a place that was so hot without, killing themselves, because we were doing GIS. We might not have called it GIS, but when my grandmother got out and told me she understood where the wind was going and how to plan, how did you think those people live? It was GIS. It was just not called GIS. So I think that what you guys are doing, Joshua, translating it in a language, we just need a way to make sure that it match their way of thinking, because they are doing GIS already. We are in, and we understand it. And I think that I am all for, collaborating. We need to not just be doing it by ourselves. We need to basically find a way to connect and share what we're doing, so that we could augment each other. That is the only way we could actually map, or counter map this history, and make sure that we show where we are, because it's not about being less than anybody else. It's about being unique. We are different, and let's really exercise that difference and showcase that difference. Let's stop shoveling down what we have. I came to America, and I'm going to tell you what really shocked me. It is this idea that from Africa, we look at as America as the greatest place. And when I came here, every single American I met will say, oh, I speak French. And you'll say, okay, speak French. And all they knew was half a word. Those people exercise anything that they have, which is nothing, and tell you they know it. Why is Africa, with all of the knowledge that we have, trying to think that we have anything to learn
learn from them. Let's stop this myth. It is a myth. It is zero. I teach my children Africa is the ground. I come from Africa, and whatever you have here, it's nonsense, because I look at the reality of things, and Africa can teach America a lot. So let's go on that,
Definitely, definitely. I love that. It's so true. And it's so, I think both like you and Joshua, like kind of made two important points is like, we don't see African nations are becoming the hub of technology, and there's a lot of like opportunity for expansion and growth, just because there's just this desire from like us African people everywhere to just get better and improve and like learn and we are fighters, because we go through so many of us have so much struggles in our lives growing up. Like things just don't fall. I will always remember the first time I met Christine, and she talked about like her childhood and her like how she grew up and the opportunities she had to fight for. And it really resonated with me, because I was like, we had to fight really hard for it. And now that we have more access to the technology, there's no way that we should just try to be something that we're not. We should just try to be ourselves, because we're really amazing and we bring in a really unique perspective. And Africa contains, I always say this, African countries contain 30% of the world's natural resources. The Western world is still taking from us because it still depends on us. And they need us as much as we think we need them. They need us just as much, if not more. And I think understanding that and embracing how much power we have if we use the GIS technology, especially. And I love your story about your grandma, Christine, also because I think a lot about how Mauritius. Go ahead, Joshua.
No, sorry, my mom was actually listening to our story, and come and see the way my mom was saying yes. Like my mom is there listening to our story.
Hi,
And my
Mom.
mom was saying yes.
Hi.
Let me say.
Hello.
Hello, Mom.
Hi, Joshua's mom.
Hello.
Nice to meet you.
Hi, how are you?
We are fine.
Thank you. We good. Thank you for joining.
Okay, thank you.
We need your guidance. We need you. To teach us.
Even before the process, we know where the rain, when rain want to fall, we know where the wind will go.
Yes. Exactly. We want you to teach us, Mom. We want you to make sure that we realize that you guys are the powerhouse.
Yeah.
And we need to learn from you, because right now we are going up and thinking we're discovering all of those things, but you got it. You had it all along. You just didn't call it this.
This season is coming. We know where the rain goes.
Hello.
Hi, Joshua. I don't know if it's on my end, but it was cutting a little bit. But it was so nice to meet your mom. So amazing. I think we lost Joshua. It was so great. And I love that. I want to hear from Marie or Angela, if you have anything to add to the conversation, because I think me and Christine, we love talking about this, but we want to give space to like anyone who wants to share about their experience, like trying to find your space in an industry that doesn't always look like you, but knowing that you have a lot to contribute to that industry also. So yeah, please feel free to contribute anything.
Hello. Are you getting me?
Yes. Please go ahead.
Okay. I'll not be long because I'm at office. So I I will not be long, but I wanted to share. If you allow me, I can speak in French because my English is not yet good as
Please,
you. Since I'm
please
from
speak in
Cameroon,
French.
in the
Please.
French part of the country. Donc, je vais parler en français. Désolée, Angela, si tu ne comprends pas bien le français, mais bon.
Non, je comprends très bien le français, donc il n'y a pas de souci.
Rencontrer. J'ai eu le profil de Viro, ça fait 2 jours parce que j'ai vu comment on a partagé dans un groupe l'événement et j'ai... Ah d'accord, c'est super. Et donc, comme je dis, je suis très, très heureuse de faire votre connaissance et que cette discussion ait lieu. Je ne vous connais pas personnellement. J'ai vu le profil de Viro, ça fait 2 jours, parce que j'ai vu comment elle a partagé l'événement sur sa page. Et Christine aussi, je pense que je l'avais aperçue une fois en contact. Donc, en effet, moi, je suis...
Marie, tu es sur mute. On t'entend plus.
Oh,
Ok.
excusez, ma connexion était déconnectée. C'est pour ça que je vous ai perdu. Mais comme je
Ok.
disais, j'ai un profil atypique en ce qui concerne les sciences géospatiales parce qu'à la base, j'ai fait biologie de la conservation et ensuite, j'ai fait les sciences environnementales. Donc, ça fait pratiquement 2 ans que j'ai vraiment fait un master en géomatique. Et c'est ça qui a boosté ma passion dans le domaine des sciences spatiales. J'ai d'ailleurs étudié au Nigeria et c'est là-bas que j'ai eu vraiment ma passion. Donc, une fois rentrée au Cameroun, j'ai essayé de me familiariser en intégrant la communauté OpenStreetMap Cameroun qui fait la promotion de la cartographie participative au niveau local. Et aussi, j'ai commencé un job à Institut national de cartographie au Cameroun. Donc, c'est comme ça que j'ai pu essayer de développer mon réseau dans le domaine géospatial. Et comme dans la plupart des pays africains, le Cameroun, c'est pareil. Les sciences géospatiales, c'est vraiment un outil de prise de décision, mais les gens ne sont pas vraiment au courant. Donc, c'est un outil qui n'est pas très utilisé. Pourtant, pour moi, ça devait être vraiment utile au même titre que les statistiques, par exemple, et bien d'autres, mais au niveau local, c'est pas vraiment très connu. Mais pour essayer d'apporter ma petite contribution, j'ai eu à organiser des, des petits événements. On a organisé le premier State of the Map Cameroun en 2019 et on a essayé de regrouper les différents acteurs des sciences spatiales au niveau local. On a fait 2 jours de workshop où on a partagé, on a échangé avec les autres. L'idée pour moi, c'était déjà de connaître la communauté camerounaise impliquée dans le domaine géospatial. Et j'étais curieuse ou bien j'étais un peu déçue de savoir que la plupart, c'était des hommes. J'étais presque la seule femme dans l'organisation et même dans les invités. Donc, ça m'a un peu choquée. Mais je me suis rendu compte que même les hommes, la plupart de ceux qui étaient impliqués, c'est pas au Cameroun qu'ils ont eu leur passion, en fait. C'est quand ils sont partis étudier à l'étranger, en France, aux États-Unis et tout, qu'ils ont été au courant ou bien qu'ils ont vraiment compris l'importance de cela. Donc, c'est ça qui m'a poussée à mettre sur pied, je vais dire, une petite organisation. C'est encore vraiment nouveau. Je suis encore en train de créer des pages sur les réseaux sociaux que j'ai appelé Kids and Girls in Geospatial. Donc, l'idée du Kids and Girls in Geospatial, c'est vraiment de motiver les jeunes, les enfants, en fait, genre du bas âge, pour qu'ils puissent prendre conscience des différentes, de ce domaine en fait qui est très intéressant. Pour moi, je dis toujours, c'est la science du futur pour que les plus jeunes puissent prendre connaissance de cela parce que, bon, au Cameroun, peut-être qu'en la plupart des pays africains, on n'utilise pas beaucoup les choses comme le GPS pour se renseigner. Excusez-moi, mais on est obligé de demander à quelqu'un pour aller au marché, est-ce que c'est en haut ou en bas? Tu vois, genre, c'est pas vraiment cool, c'est pas vraiment bien. Mais si déjà dans le bas âge, dans les écoles, les enfants connaissent utiliser le GPS, s'ils connaissent, voilà, lire une carte, déjà, c'est intéressant. Donc, c'est ça, en fait, la mission de Kids and Girls in Geospatial, c'est de motiver les jeunes, en même temps de promouvoir les sciences géospatiales au niveau des jeunes et surtout des femmes. Donc, en fait, c'est ça, quoi. C'est ce que je peux partager avec vous. Ce sera vraiment c'est vraiment une chance pour moi de vous rencontrer déjà et discuter avec vous. Ça fait plaisir.
Pareillement,
Et
pareillement.
ça fait plaisir également de savoir ce que vous faites à votre niveau, au niveau local, tant au niveau local qu'au niveau global, en fait. Donc,
Marie,
oui.
je vais partir. J'ai envie de partir, mais je voulais juste rajouter quelque chose sur ce que tu disais. Moi, je pense qu'on peut se tutoyer là.
Bien sûr, bien sûr.
Sure. So, moi, je pensais qu'en fait, c'est vrai qu'au Cameroun, peut-être, les gens ne sont pas très, comment dire, très aware. Ils font pas la géospatiale, mais ils le font déjà. Moi, je pense qu'il y a des manières, et tu sais, je pense comme une éducatrice, quoi. Quand tu me parles de les gens ne sont pas vraiment comment dire, ils l'utilisent pas vraiment. Je pense qu'on l'utilise au Cameroun. Et tu sais comment? On l'utilise parce que quand on prend un taxi, on dit à côté du bâtiment rouge. C'est déjà du location analysis. Ouais? C'est déjà du location intelligence. Parce que les gens reconnaissent par rapport à un endroit, tu sais. Donc, en fait, je pense qu'il y a une espèce de gap là. Il faudrait en fait qu'on utilise cette science très, très avancée et qu'on essaie de la ramener avec le low-tech que les gens utilisent, quoi. Comment est-ce que les gens pensent? Et je pense qu'il y a un moyen de connecter ces deux. Je crois que c'est très joli et je crois que c'est une façon de réinventer JS. Le problème qu'on a dans la géospatialité, c'est qu'on essaie de penser à la méthodologie comme la personne qui l'a créée. Mais il faudrait qu'on essaie de repenser à la méthodologie par rapport à nous, par rapport à la façon dont les gens pensent. Et c'est pour ça que je pense qu'on a l'opportunité et même de créer comme la maman qui vient de se mettre là. Comment est-ce qu'ils reconnaissent le vent? Il faudrait qu'on retourne dans cette manière-là, qu'on essaie de voir comment on utilise la science et qu'on ramène les deux. Je crois qu'il y a beaucoup à faire là. Il y a une innovation qui n'est pas possible et qui n'est même pas encore là. Et je pense que il faut en fait comprendre que les gens, ils veulent le faire. Comprendre que les gens, s'ils comprennent qu'en fait, ça leur rend la vie plus facile et ça les rend moins stressés, ils vont le faire. Et généralement, le problème qu'on a, c'est que si on laisse la géospatialité comme elle est, ça fait que les gens aient besoin de trop penser ou alors de beaucoup changer dans leur vie. Si on leur ramène d'une manière où ils n'ont presque rien à changer et ça améliore leur vie, c'est du win-win, quoi. Et c'est ça qu'il faut qu'on fasse, quoi. Il faudrait qu'on réécrive, c'est ce que je dis, compte map, réécrire cette géospatialité dans la localité où on est pour qu'elle puisse servir aux gens, pour qu'elle puisse vraiment être acceptée par les gens. Et c'est pas le contraire, quoi. Merci, je dois partir. Allez,
merci beaucoup, Christine. Merci. Thank you, Christine. Et Marie, pour être honnête avec toi, je pense que le désir que tu as, le désir que tu as, Marie, de supporter, d'encourager ta communauté à utiliser la technologie géospatiale, c'est déjà beaucoup parce que il y a beaucoup de gens qui ne voient pas cette opportunité-là et Dr. Wakta, Christine, a déjà ce regard innovateur et elle voit les opportunités. Et par exemple, dans la communauté à Maurice, on utilise beaucoup le storytelling, c'est-à-dire on raconte des histoires, on appelle ça raconte Sirandane et tout. Et ça, c'est un truc qui m'intéresse de plus en plus. Parce que à la base, je suis comme toi, j'ai un degré en conservation biologie et écologie. Ouais. Mais j'ai commencé à réaliser qu'il y a d'autres opportunités que je puisse utiliser la technologie dans le côté géospatial par rapport au raconter des histoires, le storytelling et tout ce qui va avec. Et c'est chercher ces opportunités-là, comme Christine l'a dit, dans des espaces où tu t'attends pas à ce que la technologie soit là, mais en fait, elle est applicable partout parce qu'elle est tellement diverse, la technologie en elle-même. La geospatial is so diverse que tu as beaucoup d'opportunités pour l'intégrer dans plein de choses par rapport à la visualisation, au storytelling. Et je pense que vraiment prendre en considération le fait que tu puisses avoir tout ce genre d'outils-là à portée de main, pas juste dans le côté très technique pour laquelle tu as été formé, c'est d'essayer de voir, think out of the box, de voir un peu plus loin avec la technologie. Et, oh, hi, we finally got our DJ. But, en fait, tout ça pour te dire, Marie, so just to kind of give an idea to Joshua and our non-French speakers, Marie was sharing about her journey of like, you know, being from Cameroon, but also wanting to empower like people to use the technology a lot more because it's there, and she feels like the community don't see the importance of it or don't realize the importance of it. And I was telling her about how there's so much opportunity for it to grow and to use it in other ways that is not the typical way that we've been trained to. And actually, Marie, si tu pourrais partager ta page ou pour ton groupe, parce que moi aussi, j'ai très envie d'encourager la femme créole à Maurice d'utiliser la technologie pour faire autre chose que juste le côté technique. C'est pour leur montrer la capacité de la technologie en elle-même. Donc, si tu as une page à partager pour ton, même pas tout de suite, je sais que tu m'as dit que tu es toujours en train de set up your social media presence. Dès que c'est possible, si tu veux partager la page avec nous, on serait très heureux de partager la page aussi, comme si pour promouvoir ta présence. Et moi aussi, j'aurais adoré, comme si on a une opportunité pour en parler, essayer de se soutenir des deux côtés. Okay, so Resha, I was saying to, are you still here, Resha? Hi, Resha.
Yes, here.
Well, I think I realized there's been a time confusion. That's what it really came down.
Yes.
You're feeling that too. Yeah. So I personally.
Yeah, drop a beat.
Yeah. I think what I was just saying to I don't mind staying on. I know Resha needs to get some sleep, so I know TJ is here now. I'm happy to continue like chatting, but what I wanted to say, Resha, is like I'd love to be able to find a way to promote Marie like initiative about like speaking about GIS, and she clearly is already doing a lot in her space, especially as one of the few women doing it. So I really want to like support her and see if we can think of ways to support her. So yeah, if you had any thoughts on that, Resha, how this can be done.
Connected on LinkedIn, yes. And that's what I was wondering if you were part of any of the networks that we've been building through NorthStar. So we have to get all the way connected, and we did get connected just now on LinkedIn, so we can continue from there. But let me see, I can always, this is my email too here from Esri. Oh, no,
I will say hi to our DJ also. He's setting up, and Itari, am I saying your name right? Bienvenue. Welcome to our homecoming happy hours. Welcome. Donc, if you want to drop your name in the chat and say hello, or even unmute yourself, please don't hesitate to. If you can't speak, you can just like drop your name in the chat. We're gonna start like playing some games and like some music. And if everyone can get like a piece of paper, I would like to like, hi Juno. Like, do you want to say?
Hello, what's up? How are you?
Yeah, just introduce yourself so everyone can like know who you are, where you're calling from.
All right. What's up, everybody? My name is Gino Brown. I'm from South Africa. I'm a DJ, producer, and songwriter from South Africa. I'm in Joburg in Culture Music Studios. Shout out to my boy Tribe Franco for allowing me to use his studio. And yeah, I'm excited to be a part of the homecoming. And yeah. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, thank you so much. I want you to, thank you, it's awesome. So I just want to give a special thanks to Resha, who's wake up so early to be here. And I want to, I know she's off to sleep now and she deserves it. So thank you, Resha, for being here. Welcome, everyone. I'm not going to share my screen because of the internet, but Resha know that we've been here.
Merci.
Merci beaucoup, Resha. It was so much fun.
À bientôt. Gros bisous.
Gros bisous,
Bonne
Resha.
à tous. Mouah.
Bye-bye.
Bonne soirée.
Au revoir.
Bye, Resha.
Bonne journée. Au revoir.
Bye, Resha.
Merci.
So welcome to Homecoming again. TJ is just joined us also. She's in the background and she is gonna be here to like just be amazing and supportive, and I just really appreciate that. So bienvenue à la session Homecoming. Le thème cette année c'est innovation et let me just pull my slide so I'm not saying random things. So création et innovation durant et pendant la pandémie. So this is the theme of this year. So creation and innovation through and beyond the pandemic. And we've had a series of events in the last few days. If you don't mind, maybe TJ, if you have, maybe I do have a link to post it in the chat for like the YouTube channel where you can, if you've missed some of the events and you'd like to catch it back up, we've had a careers in GIS that I was put on like really early. So on a eu plein de sessions cette semaine-ci. On a eu des sessions depuis dimanche. Depuis samedi, il y avait le Happy Hours fuseau horaire américain. Donc, si vous voulez rattraper toutes ces sessions-là, n'hésitez pas à vérifier toutes les informations qui sont dans le chat box au bas. On a déjà eu quelques partages et I just want to tell you, like Gino, DJ Gino, if you want to start sharing your sound, that would be like awesome. And if you haven't introduced yourself, please feel free to do so in the chat. Donc, vous pouvez vous introduire. Faites un coucou dans le chat à tout le monde. Dites, présentez-vous dans le chat, donnez votre nom et pronom si vous êtes confortable et votre profil LinkedIn aussi si vous voulez. So share your LinkedIn profile if you want to.
Great, thank you. Bonjour, everyone.
Bonjour, TJ. So I wanted to start with a quick little game. If you can all grab like a piece of paper, and I will let the DJ like launch his music first.
Right, I have my paper.
Yeah.
There we go. Yeah.
Can you also hear me?
Yes.
Awesome. So if you can grab a piece of paper, I will like, the game is to essentially, I want you to draw the African continent without looking. So you will be given like a few minutes to do so. I will also grab my pen and paper, so just be right back with you.
This should be interesting how mine looks.
Yeah, I just want to know like how people like do it. So you will be given a few minutes. You can just start drawing it. on the, I will put a timer so that we all get the same amount of time. And what's a fair amount of time, TJ? Do you say like 30?
I think maybe do a clock for like maybe about, I think give them like 2 to 3 minutes.
That's very generous.
They may want to put colors on it. They may want to add shadows.
Well, they have to, they can't look up the map. Let's agree on that, right?
Yes, yes, yes.
So we're gonna start by launching the timer now. And I'm not as nice as DJ. I'll give you 1 minute to draw your African continent. And I hope you all get to get a piece of paper. Did you all manage to get a piece of paper? Like,
I have.
awesome. Est-ce que, bon, juste pour récapituler, le challenge, c'est de dessiner le continent africain sans regarder une map ou sans regarder de référence. Donc, essayez de trouver un bout de papier, ça n'a pas besoin d'être extraordinaire. Donc, juste dessiner le continent africain, vous aurez 1 minute pour dessiner le continent africain. So 1 minute to draw the African continent, and I'm gonna start the timer now. And then when we're done, you can share, you can turn on your screen and show it to me, or you can post it in the chat. You can post an image in the chat. Timer. Wait, I'm gonna restart that. No, yeah, no cheating, please. We're gonna see like. So timing starting now. Et le chrono démarre.
Okay.
Oh my God, I have no idea what Africa looks like. I've just realized.
My whole marker just went kabloom. It's like, no, I'm not going to draw that. I don't know what you're doing.
C'est le continent le plus populaire. Most famous continent, but have no idea what it looks like now. Oh God. This is just really bad.
Mine looks like a shoehorn.
Mine just look like a triangle. It's pretty bad.
The music sounds good.
Yeah, the DJ is really good.
Thank you, DJ. We love it.
He's in this groove. He is in the groove.
Okay, I'm gonna stop the stopwatch now. I gave a bit extra time because I realized it was a bit extreme. So if you wanna, I'm gonna share my screen, and it's a pretty bad picture. So I apologize, Africa. Je suis désolée. Continent africain. Mes excuses. Oh wait. There you go. Mine. That's like, wait. I drew Mauritius because I'm like, it's not fair.
You can't even see mine. Let me take my filter off.
Yeah.
There it is. You see it a little? Let me take my filter off. Hold on. There it is.
Like now I'm really curious to know like what it looks like because I just don't actually remember.
You know what? We
Marie-
didn't do that bad.
Non, mais it's actually not that bad. Marie, est-ce que tu as fait le... Est-ce que c'est Madagascar en fait? Marie?
Oui, c'est Madagascar.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I was even more extreme. I was like Madagascar, Mauritius. I put Mauritius and Rodrigue, but I didn't put any other islands. So I'm like, I don't care about the other islands, clearly.
I didn't do that. I didn't do that.
Je suis désolée Réunion Island, je suis désolée Seychelles, Maldives et tout ce qui va avec. I only drew Mauritius. Sorry about that. I actually let's look what this
I was going to try to do Chicago in Africa on the side. Nah, so this is as best as I can do. Can you see it?
really great. Let me see now. I want to find a picture of like African nation, but oh, yeah, that's a good question. I do know the answer. So
I'm curious to know your answer.
That's a good one. Is it not
Part of this
54?
research 2 days ago, and it became an issue because of it was between 54 and 55.
I thought
And
it
I
was
wanted
57.
See, that's where I was.
Oh, I
So
thought it was
must be
54.
something.
You thought it was 54?
I thought it was
Oh.
54.
But are we like, because I count Mauritius as an African country, and
So I would like to know whether you guys, is it
yeah,
57?
because I count Mauritius as an African country.
Right, right. And I am not an expert enough to call it out, to know. So I was like, I need to call on my brothers and sisters that actually live in Africa to tell
Yeah.
me. Because it was something that came up and I realized I didn't want to incorrectly, answer that. So it's a great question. It's a great question. I'm gonna bring it up again because I didn't realize how much how I was getting it wrong.
Yeah. So it's one of those things where it's like, so it's 54 on mainland, 54. But if you count African islands, then it's 57.
Islands, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. And what are those islands? Is it Mauritius? What else?
Mauritius,
Madagascar,
Madagascar.
Seychelles.
I'm writing that down right now because that is
Yeah.
a question that I want Americans to know. I think it's important.
But is Maldives an African country? God, I should know that. I should know, mais franchement, I should know. Est-ce que Maldives is an African country? Shame on me, I have no idea.
Well,
no. Yeah, it's Southern Asia. It's not. So African islands. Well, the fun thing though, Seychelles has 155 islands.
Oh.
How?
How?
Because originally Madagascar is not part of mainland Africa. Madagascar was part of India, and it broke off India from the supercontinent and then scattered a bunch of islands on the way down, namely the 155 islands of Seychelles. And Seychelles is a granitic island, it's not a volcanic island. Mauritius is a volcanic island. So
I knew that about Mauritius, but I didn't know that about Seychelles. That's crazy. See, you learn something new every day.
yeah,
Every day.
Thank you, Gino, for the show.
yeah.
He's doing a great job, isn't he?
Yeah.
He's in it. He's in it. He's just smiling. So, do you guys? I don't know if you can see his background. There's a record on the wall. Do you see that record on the wall?
Yeah.
That's my brother. That's my brother's. Yep.
So is your brother TJ in like South Africa, or is he in the US?
Yes.
Okay.
No, he lives in South Africa. He's there. My brother's there.
Oh.
But we didn't want to make this about us, so I told him to stay in the background. But yes, he lives there. I have not been able to see my brother in 2 years since the pandemic. And he has dual citizenship. So he's in Cape Town. He bought a house in Cape Town, and then he is from Chicago too. So I haven't seen him in 2 years. So it's pretty cool to, yeah, it's a little emotional too. Him or Gino. So Gino has been a part of us, or he's known my brother for about 10 years now. And my brother's been going back and forth to not only teach communications and music in Botswana with Gino, but he also has his own production in South Africa with Gino. So there's that.
Yeah,
That's nice.
that's really cool. That's really cool.
Yeah, so anytime you guys need anything, I'm hoping I can come there and then just be like, I'm here in Africa, let's go.
Well, it's honestly on my list of things to do. I really want to go to mainland Africa, because I did my genetic test and I found out my ancestors are from like mainland Africa, East Coast, and they were Bantu people. And like it was really like awesome to find out about it. So I want to go to mainland Africa, definitely. So I see we have some new folks joining. Nesit Faima, bienvenue. Merci de nous rejoindre dans notre happy hour. Please feel free to introduce yourself in the chat. Vous pouvez vous présenter dans le chat box au bas. Tell us where you're from, what you're doing, and you can just tell us also.
I'm Nezit Abedje.
Go on, we can hear you, Nessie. Don't worry, we can hear you.
Welcome, Nessie.
I come from Ivory Coast, Côte d'Ivoire. I'm GIS specialist.
That's nice.
Je viens de la Côte d'Ivoire ici.
Génial, bienvenue Nessie. Côte d'Ivoire représente, c'est génial. J'ai plein de potes à Côte d'Ivoire. I have some friends from there. On s'est rencontrés aux États-Unis, so welcome. And also, la raison pour laquelle ma vidéo est off, c'est parce que ma connexion internet n'est pas très bonne. So the reason my camera is off is my internet is a bit bad. But most important is the DJ. You can turn on your camera if you want. No pressure. You can keep it on. You can keep it off. And so I wanted to also say that if you're comfortable, share your LinkedIn profile in the chat. Donc, partagez votre profil LinkedIn dans le chat. Et dites-nous aussi, parlez-nous un peu de vous, like share anything you want to share with us, like your career in GIS. Like, are you early career professional? Est-ce que vous venez de découvrir le monde de GIS? Anything you really want to share? It's just exciting to have you here. So welcome, both of you.
Merci.
Hi, sorry, I got the message quite late now. I'm Faima Daniels and I'm from South Africa. I work as a conservation planner in our national parks agency, so quite a bit with GIS to parks planning and mapping and our species and things like that.
Welcome. Nice to meet you. You're also in South Africa, Faima?
Yeah, I'm in Cape Town in South Africa.
That's awesome. Our DJ is in South Africa right now.
I didn't know that.
So you're all playing. So I'm just gonna turn on my camera quickly so you can see my face.
Right.
That's me. And then I'm gonna turn it off.
So warm.
I know. Look at it.
It's miserable over here. So I won't even.
There's just a lot of like coconut trees, and it should make me happy. But I'm like, where are the native Where are the native trees? Where is the coconut? I'm outraged by the lack of native trees. But it's a nice weather. And yeah, my best friend is actually also in Cape Town, Dasha. He's in conservation, working with African lovebirds. And he told me like it's cold. And I hope you're safe. I know like Gino was chatting with him yesterday, was telling us about
Yes.
how intense your lockdown is.
Yes. Yeah, I know. I'm a little far removed from like where all of the like I don't know, like protests and looting's been happening. It's been quite crazy just hearing from people up like further on the East Coast. But otherwise fairly safe, and like the COVID is just crazy also, but so far so good. Yeah.
Well, I'm glad to hear the safe, and it's really so bad, like about the protests. But I understand, but it's still really, it sucks, and yeah. How about Nessit, Mary, Joshua? How is the situation on your side? We probably don't want to talk about COVID. I understand that, but if you want to share how like thing is on your side of the world, like just in general, like how is things going? I can tell you here, as you probably guessed, it's not my house. I'm quarantining in my hotel room. I've been stuck here for 7 days. That's why my internet is so bad. I'm not going crazy yet. I'm still fine. And like these events are keeping me busy, but the status is like here quarantine for 14 days is still mandatory, even if you're vaccinated, and I will be free to roam the country in 7 days after I get my nose swabbed once again. So yeah. Donc,
and where are you? Sorry.
I'm in Mauritius. I'm not too far.
Sounds like fun.
So, Nessit, Côte d'Ivoire. I actually have a friend who went back to Côte d'Ivoire. He lived in the United States for like 10 years, and he finally went back home after 10 years, just in the middle of the pandemic. And I'm like, well, you choose your timing right. But yeah, so how is things in Côte d'Ivoire? Nessit, tout se passe bien? C'est quoi la situation à la Côte d'Ivoire?
Alors, la Côte d'Ivoire, il fait beau ici. Concernant les effets de la Covid, on a subi autrement en travaillant peut-être de la maison, mais moi, je travaille dans une boîte américaine, développement Gateway. Donc, du coup, bon, je suis lié à l'heure des États-Unis. Voilà. Tout va bien ici.
Yeah, I can relate. Je suis aussi dans le fuseau horaire États-Unis, so I'm also in the United States like time zone working. It's not fun. Last night, I was presenting at 3 a.m. And c'est intense. 3 heures du matin, it's very, very early, and I was just so it was very tiring. But it's fun. It's fun.
Thank you.
Donc, people are sharing their LinkedIn profile in the chat. Donc, les gens sont en train de mettre leur profil LinkedIn in the chat. So feel free to share your LinkedIn profile and connect with each other. And I know that it's hard to remember what everyone else do. So c'est une occasion de pouvoir reconnecter par la suite. And don't hesitate to stalk each other. Donc, allez sur le profil les uns des autres and faites des recherches. Oh, vous faites ça, and let's connect later on. I highly encourage it because this was more of a happy hour than a networking. Donc, l'accent n'est pas forcément sur le networking. It's more on the happy hour. But I will say, I will quickly post it in the chat, is if you are aware or not, we have more events associated with the homecoming. Donc, ces derniers jours, on a eu le happy hour on a aussi eu GIS Career Talk, Welcome Day, et plusieurs sessions. So all these sessions are available on YouTube. So you can access it on YouTube and you can rewatch it. And there are more sessions coming up in the next few days. So if you can't watch it live, you can watch it later on. Et ce sera accessible sur YouTube. And I know, like, I'm doing a confusing thing of speaking one sentence in English and in French. So if you do miss out anything,
But at least we still always lift out. So it's okay.
It's okay.
I think everyone is understanding me, so don't worry. I think everyone is, so I'm assuming. So actually, we were doing finding common ground. What languages do you all speak? I speak French, Creole, and English. Well, you guys are French and English. Donc, partagez dans le chat or just unmute yourself et dites-moi, what languages do you speak? Share with us, like, what languages you speak.
Chicago as well.
Chicago has its own language. Trust me.
Is Chicago a language?
It has its own language. Trust me.
The dialect.
Yes, if I said, well, let's do it. Yeah. So a little about me. I was born in New Orleans, and we're spread out. And some of my roots and elders still speak Creole. And so when when we came to Chicago, they have no idea. Like it's crazy because New Orleans is in the United States. So it's like, like it doesn't exist or something, as far as the language. But when you go to New Orleans, they speak it, patois is spoken all the time. So it's weird. And I think it's more that it makes Americans feel more safe, which I don't like. I don't like that. It's very disheartening to know that some of my family don't speak patois or French anymore to make others feel comfortable, in America. So, it's kind of like Chicago too. Chicago, I say that it has its own language because of its history and everything that's going on. Chicago was actually found by a Haitian Frenchman, Baptiste was his name. And I did a whole section on it for Esri's Black History Month on how Chicago was actually found, by a French Haitian man. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Look it up. We have it on the gisNorthStar YouTube. It's recorded, and people were like, "What?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And as a matter of fact, Du Sabot Museum, if you guys have ever heard of it, that is the original. He was the one that stepped foot on the edge of Lakeshore Drive, which is downtown. And it was him and his wife. His wife was a Patawin tribe and Cherokee tribe Indian. And they married and they got on a boat and they ended up at Chicago. And then here comes this other guy, this European guy who decided he wanted to buy the land and then named himself the originator of Chicago, but that's not true. That is not true. Du Sabot, a Haitian sailor, Frenchman, entrepreneur, was the originating person who founded Chicago, a Black man, Black Frenchman at that. So, yeah. Yeah.
I didn't know that. That's really crazy. And like something that really saddened me is I grew up learning history in my country. So Mauritius was colonized by we got the best. French and British both. So but we got the best of both worlds. And you know, like the story is always told from the perspective of the colonizer, like the history that we were told. And there's also this fact. Oh, we lost our DJ, by the way. He dropped out. Yeah. So, and one thing that really like kind of, I love a quote, there's a quote by Chinua Achebe, is like, until like the lions get their own historian, the story will always be told from the perspective of the hunter. And that's really what I feel happened. Is I grew up like with an image of a very negative image of enslaved people, because you know it felt like there was only tragedy and loss in their story, and pain and suffering. And I realized that there's actually more than that to our stories. Like in like African nations, there's a story of like resilience. And you know, I come from a country, I'm part Indian, part African, and this notion locally that like maybe like Indians are better than Africans, and because of they were indentured laborers and not like enslaved people. And it's just again because of the white colonizers' gaze that told us that truth, and it's not the truth. It's not how things are. And I'm trying to reclaim a lot more my language, and Creole is like, it's so cool because I understand Seychelles Creole, I understand like New Orleans Creoles, I understand Haitian Creole. I can't speak it, but I understand it. So I'm curious to know about like all of you, like what's your relationship? I think relationship with language is pretty contentious in some parts of African nations, because our, like either the language has been vilified or has been given like a bad name, or has really been tainted with like the colonizer, like has not been decolonized essentially. And yeah, j'ai vraiment envie d'avoir votre perspective à vous tous, like de tous les côtés du continent africain. C'est quoi votre relation par rapport à la langue, votre langue maternelle, aussi in your community, your relationship comme je dis à la langue. And our DJ is back. Welcome back, Gino.
Yeah. Welcome back, Gino. There he is.
Yeah, like, DJ Gino in the place. So, ouais, si vous voulez partager votre histoire par rapport à votre langue maternelle ou la langue que vous parlez dans votre communauté, I would love to hear like your perspective, because I know like it was not encouraged to speak Creole, even though it's the language we all speak. It's not seen as the good thing to do, speak Creole. A lot, like TJ was saying, is like you had to adopt the colonizer language. So yeah.
Yeah, okay. So here is Cameroon is we have like 238 tribes, so we have more than 238 local languages. So is for me, my mom and my dad are not from the same tribe, so it has been difficult at home to learn both my dad and my mom local mother tongues. So basically at home, when I was like a child, we were speaking French. But since we were growing, and I'm kind of attached of the culture, so I try to learn my mother language and my father mother tongue languages. So actually, I speak both. Anyway, I try to speak my mother and my father languages, which are really different, but that's how I try to manage. But my siblings, it's difficult for them because they grow in town, so they are not going to the village anymore because our grandmom and granddad are not still alive. So it's difficult for them to learn specific languages. So in Cameroon, it's really difficult because we don't have a country language. So you can have 5 Cameroonian and they can understand what each if each of them is speaking. So that's a challenge here in Cameroon.
Est-ce que Marie, tu as l'impression que ça crée une barrière au niveau de l'éducation for learning? Do you feel like it's a barrier? Le fait que qu'il y a
J'ai pas entendu, Véronique.
Ah, je te disais, est-ce que tu penses que ça crée une barrière au niveau de l'éducation? Le fait qu'il n'y a pas une langue, il y a plusieurs communautés qui parlent plusieurs langues, plusieurs communautés qui ne partagent pas la même langue. Est-ce que ça crée des barrières au niveau de l'éducation?
Merci. En effet, je pense que oui, ça crée une grosse barrière parce que du coup, les enfants sont orientés occidental. C'est déjà la première barrière, comment je vais dire, la première barrière physique pour moi, c'est quand il y a des étrangers à la maison. On est obligé de parler soit le français, soit l'anglais. Du coup, c'est difficile pour un parent de dire à son enfant, fais quelque chose s'il ne veut pas que l'étranger comprenne, tu vois. Et c'est un peu difficile. Et aussi au niveau culturel, c'est vrai qu'avoir plusieurs cultures dans un pays, c'est enrichissant parce qu'on apprend toujours des étrangers, on apprend des autres et tout. Mais si à la base, on ne connaît pas sa propre culture, ça sera difficile aussi d'apprécier la culture des autres. Sinon, on est tourné vers les colons, vers ceux qui nous ont colonisés et on se dit que c'est mieux ce qu'eux ils font parce que nous, on n'a pas pu apprendre le local, ce que nous on fait, ce que nos grands-parents ont fait et ce qui est propre à nous en fait. Donc je pense que c'est un avantage et c'est un inconvénient. C'est un avantage dans le sens où on peut apprendre beaucoup de différentes tribes, mais c'est aussi un inconvénient si on ne connaît pas notre propre culture, notre propre langue.
Yeah, definitely. Mary and I we're talking about like language and culture erasure in homes, and she was sharing very kindly about like how, you know, you often have to speak a language that is not necessarily your native tongue in certain spaces because of this idea of that the colonizer language is superior. I just want to make sure you can all still hear me. Because, okay, it's our DJ. It's our DJ that was frozen, not me.
Well, yeah, we're hanging in there. We're hanging in there. He'll be back. Yes, it's tough that connection, like you said, and everything that's going on. But we're getting it.
We're doing it. We're getting music. Our DJ is doing like random on and off. But yeah, we're talking about with Marie about you know, like how I love it. I love being multilingual. I don't know, like I love it. I love being able to speak many languages because it's so useful. Like it's such a useful thing to be able to speak more than language. I love it. But at the same time, I do feel about like, you know, like having to be able to always be able to communicate in other languages. And Creole is an interesting language because in a lot of ways it's a made up one. So like our Creole is very like a mix of Indian, French, English. So yeah, I really appreciated Marie sharing her relationship with language, and I love to hear from others. And I see we have youth mappers that join us. And who is the person that is youth behind, like person or persons that is behind youth mappers? You can say hi, introduce yourself. And we had a DJ. He was there, I promise. He had some
He's
technical.
coming back.
Yeah,
just a little bit.
Yeah, he's. I would say he's running to the store, but that's not true. He's still just like there, but technical difficulties. So please introduce yourself and say hi. And I'm turning my camera off again because my internet is also bad. But I just wanted to say hi so you know who you're talking to, what I look like. And so like a quick hello from my side. And we still have Joshua on the call. He's been really quiet. Joshua, any like language thing to share with us?
I'm here, right? Yeah, I'm here. Yeah, it's quite interesting. I'm enjoying the DJ. Well, hopefully, I hope he joins soon. He rejoins. And my mom says hi.
Hi, what's your mom's name actually, Joshua? So Joshua's mom made an intervention earlier and gave us some solid piece of wisdom about our like African power and diaspora. So if Joshua, your mom still want to say hi again, please don't hesitate.
Yeah.
And what's her name?
Her name is Edna. Edna.
Well, nice to meet
Hello,
you,
can you hear me?
Edna.
Her name is Edna.
Yes.
I will let her know. Yes. Yeah. And the language she was speaking, like we have this pidgin English in Nigeria. So like she had a tone of pidgin English because that's the common English everyone speaks in this in Nigeria and mostly in the southern part of the country.
So how do you spell it, Joshua? Can you post it in the chat?
So like earlier in this actually translated some popular GIS words. Huh? You said?
What language do you hear? Sorry, I don't know if it was cutting for me, but I didn't hear what language you said. Like that was it was cutting
No, I
for
said
me.
my mom was actually here that I was speaking. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you now. You're good.
Okay, fine. I said my mom was actually speaking the pidgin English.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So it's fine. Thank you. I'm here.
Awesome. And yeah, so also trying to see if our DJ, if we can get him back.
Yeah. I'm gonna get him back. You guys keep going. And I'm also I always have transition music laying around. That's the great thing about having a brother that's a DJ. We always got music.
You can just
so
go
you may hear
ahead.
me play some things in the background. You guys just let me know if it's too loud or not until he comes back on.
Yeah,
that
sounds
sound
good.
good?
Yeah, sounds perfect.
Okay, cool.
So I see that youth mappers, God's wills. Please feel free to unmute yourself. This is a conversation, like it's a free for all. Like so if you want to unmute yourself and say hi and tell us about you and why you're here with us, like in terms of GIS, or if you don't want to talk about GIS, honestly, you don't have to, but do know that we all like GIS. It's not a prerequisite for the space. But yeah, please share with us if you feel comfortable to.
Maybe not. You can put it in the chat too.
Yeah, that's fine. Also, you can post it in the chat.
Okay.
So don't hesitate.
Space.
And if anyone wants to share more like language stories or even GIS, I feel like, since we're doing a GIS event, we don't talk a lot about GIS. We haven't talked a lot about GIS, which is okay, but feel free to talk about your love for GIS, please.
I was thinking, can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we can.
Okay. So my question is actually to all of you. I didn't start, I'm 41 years old. I didn't start into GIS until 8 years ago. My background is actually I graduated with a clinical lab degree and a minor in Spanish. As global studies when I went to help my people. And somewhere along the way, I switched gears because I realized that more help was needed somewhere else. So I'm interested to kind of just know, like, if anyone had I guess an unorthodox way of coming to their career or being a part of GIS, or was it something that you knew you would be a part of when you were a little girl or a little boy, you know, when back in your youth? Or is it something that kind of grabbed you to be a part of GIS, like maybe global warming or what's going on in your country at the time, or it was a passion that switched, you know, that made you switch gears like myself? I know that music is so good. Oh my God. Messi, I see your head. You're like, yeah. Yeah. Oh, and I am a dancer. Is anyone on here a dancer? Like, do you dance? And I have danced since I was 12 years old. Ballet, jazz, tap.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah. Normally, if it wasn't 5 o'clock in the morning in Chicago, I would be just hitting it. But, I mean, I have hair swinging and everything. But yeah, he is really good. I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. But
can we have
say,
a party in person? Let's all go to South Africa. Let's all meet there.
Drop your location, you know, I can come by.
If you're in South Africa, you guys, I will let you guys know all the time what's going on. That's why we wanted your LinkedIn in the chat. And we also have a NorthStar steering WhatsApp kind of group going on right now too.
Cool.
And but I'm always on, as you guys can see, Gino is a part of our family too. You know, like he's an honorary brother. So we talk a lot because right now Gino is my brother's keeper. So, you know, but I would definitely always send stuff out when things are going on in South Africa. I'm on Instagram. I always rep the DJs in South Africa, man. I do. The music in South Africa, I always do, because it's my brother. If it wasn't for him, we're 10 years apart. Me and my brother are 10 years apart. So he's 51. He would kill me if I said that, if he knew I said that. But 51. And he's been traveling back and forth to South Africa for the past 20 years doing this music and innovation and teaching kids and teaching people, you know, about the culture. And it's crazy because he's from Chicago and he had to come to Africa to be recognized. Yeah. So I'm extremely proud of everything that they're doing right now and keeping the vibe up, keeping that, because it's a lot going on, right? You know, you guys are on quarantine, right, in South Africa, and you're on curfew.
Yeah,
too?
9 to 4, and like this, like just kind of slightly eased regulations, but it's still bad. Like schools are closed. Work from home,
in
everything.
Chicago, we're open, but I wish we were still closed.
Really? But we've only got like 3% of the population vaccinated as well, so we've still got a long way to go.
First of all, we're not sure about the vaccination. Second of all, it's just complete chaos on the information. We're scared because for people like myself who have family from different countries, I don't want them to travel unless we know for sure, you know, what's going on to keep them safe. So it's I just want to say thank you for all of you all showing up today, because I know it's hard to kind of put a smile on your face during hard times, but I think as a people, we stand together stronger, you know, and when we're linked together to embark on what's happening in our land.
Exactly.
And there's no shame. There's no shame. There's no shade. There's nothing but love here. And I wanted to make sure that you all knew that in the Americas, we feel you too. We're here for you. We're here with you in all of it. You know, even though sometimes we're a bit we're a bit disconnected. We are. I can say that as an American that sometimes we get really spoiled and really disconnected. I mean, my brother told me that he can't get alcohol in South
Yeah,
Africa,
no.
and while
And I don't know, every now and then they just stop sales over Christmas and New Year's. They stop sales altogether for like
no, I couldn't deal
more
with
than a
it,
month.
and I don't even know how you guys are handling that. There's no way that I could look at my camera. Let me show you something. Let me show you. See that in the background? Yeah, that's me. Okay.
Very important. I'm so upset I didn't buy anything in duty free before
I would be
quarantining,
too.
and they charged me 130 rupees for a water bottle, like to my room. And I was like, well, if that's how much a water bottle costs, what if it's a bottle of wine? So I'm like, happy hour will happen with water.
Libations, everyone. Libations. He is really good there. I gotta make sure that he puts his info on here. I'm gonna get Gino's info for you guys, okay?
Yeah.
And he's actually, I think he's on Crump Pump label. Yeah, Gino, get it. Yes. Hey.
I really love it. I want him to come to Mauritius now. You gotta come to Mauritius, DJ Gino. Like, that's not fair. I am planning to go to South Africa at the end of the year, but the world is going a bit crazy. So I'm just not planning anything because it was a nightmare to get out of the United States.
Breaking up a
And
bit.
it was so
Breaking
hard.
up a little bit.
I'll turn off my camera. I was saying it was a nightmare to get out of the United States. So I'm not being stuck anywhere. But the advantage is right now I'm working for myself as a consultant. So
I'll let her know.
I love the fact that you can do GIS from anywhere in the world. Can you hear me now?
Can't hear.
Okay, I'll stop talking.
Noble for me for that now. 90% of the work that I do is in GIS, in mapping and analyses, and I really, really enjoy it. So yeah,
That's awesome.
I mean, like I never grew up thinking like, yeah, I just know what it was. Universe.
That's why I asked. Especially with your technologies, when I started 8 years ago, I was doing transportation for the Department of Transportation for Illinois. And I hated it. I hated working for the state. I hated it. I did not like working for the government. I didn't like what they were doing. And that's what made me want to do more when I came to Here Technologies, at that time, we had just acquired the building in Chicago, so that people were coming from everywhere. They were coming from everywhere. Yeah, Germany, Europe, Africa, Italy, all over. And so when I was, just getting to meet people, especially in artificial intelligence and art GIS, I kind of just fell into it because of my love for geography, actually science. So it kind of came hand in hand. And then after noticing that there wasn't many people my color or my gender, yeah, that's when I decided to start Unity and Power. So Unity and Power has now been going for 2 years, along with Dorothea Cooper. You saw on a couple of things. Luther Siebert is our executive sponsor. He was on the last UC conference and homecoming. We had no one to represent us, no one to even say what we were doing, why we were doing, yet we had mostly, once you started getting into it, you start seeing more people of color just not knowing where they were from or what they were doing. For example, one of our planning members for Unity and Power her mom is actually from Mauritius. And I wanted her, she's doing our happy hour later on this afternoon. You guys won't be able to join, you'll be asleep, or it'll be really late. But anyway, her mom is from Mauritius. I met her, and her name is Aisha, but she looks Southern Indian. You wouldn't even know, at all. And yesterday we were going through our Jeopardy for our happy hour. And I had told her about this happy hour. And I wanted her to make sure that we brought in the connection of Africa to keep it going so people wouldn't feel so disconnected. And I told her, I said, go on LinkedIn and make sure you connect with Veronique. She pulled up Veronique's name and noticed that her cousin, her first cousin, is one of Veronique's contacts in Mauritius.
It's a small world. It's insane.
And we just found that out literally yesterday. And we all wanted to call Veronique right away, but we knew she was asleep. So we're gonna make sure that we keep that connection going. It is extremely important. Even if we feel unsafe or not open, if we just get that uncomfortable conversations more and more, we'll open up more and more. That was one of the reasons that I put up that's one of the books that I'm reading, Uncomfortable Conversations with the Black Man. And
who's that?
So it's Emmanuel Acho. He used to be an NFL player. He's Nigerian. Okay, and he made this book starting off of these little YouTube things called Uncomfortable Conversations with a Black Man. So he would like go up to just random European Caucasian people and just be like, hey, how do you feel about and it became this whole thing. And now he's made this book, and it's so great because he brought out conversations with police officers in the United States, how they reacted to George Floyd, the situations that's going on in Haiti and South Africa, the situations with our water in Flint, Michigan, just going up to people, asking people of biracial marriages and kids. They're like, so how do you feel about being a white mom to Black kids?
That is so true. That is so true.
How do you feel about learning different languages in your home? Or how do you feel about how people treat, like there had some mixed families and like, the young gentlemen's like, well, they treat my Black sister differently or my adopted sister differently. So it's a good book. It's a good read. You guys should definitely check it out. I'll put it in the chat for you.
Yeah, I will definitely check it out. I think it's really great also because, the whole world about decolonizing and equity, diversity, and inclusion. I think this, like Black and brown people, like needs to do a lot of healing and learning, like amongst ourselves. Like I have a friend. She's amazing. She is from Kentucky, and she has a good way of putting it. Like we all need to get a room just us, and then like clear all our shit out, you know, solve everything we have against each other, because then we can like work on towards solving stuff, because we have a lot of unresolved shit, not just like
Yeah.
For sure.
like not
Yeah.
just black and brown, and we also have a lot of unresolved shit between like, excuse my language, I know we are like
No, it's
recording,
true.
but
That's all you can say. It's true.
but
It's true.
even between the dynamic between men and women, it's a very colonial dynamic, and it's a very like sexist patriarchal one, and I think we need to resolve all this stuff so that we can. And one thing that I will say is like it's not to decolonize, it's not our role to educate white people on how to decolonize. There's a lot of books out there, and I, as a person of color, I do a lot of reading and learning to constantly be more inclusive in space. So if I'm doing it and I'm the one, like, I'm not exactly causing the problem 100%, you can also do it. Like, take the time to do it. Don't expect me to teach you how to do it all the time, because it's not fair. So that's the thing that I want. I do want to be mindful of the time. It's 3:04, and I want to thank all of you for joining in today. It was so much fun. I will stop the recording now. So thank you so much for joining, like, Homecoming. Merci beaucoup d'avoir participé à Homecoming. The DJ is so great. So I'll stop the recording.